Welcome to Void Realities. If you're awake when the world sleeps, you've found the right place. Here, the lines between dreams and reality blur, and you can drift away into a world that feels like it's just for you. No rush, no pressure. Just a space for you to unwind, let go of the noise, and find calm in the quiet of the night. Whether you're seeking peace, wonder, or something to help guide you into sleep, Void Realities is your escape. Sit back, relax, and let your mind wander to the edge of the unknown. Welcome to the void. Time dilation, the cosmic clock trick, the slow breath of the universe. You rest under a canopy of ancient starlight, sensing the earth's quiet turning beneath you. The night seems still, but time drifts differently across the cosmos. You begin to notice that the universe keeps many rhythms at once, each unfolding in its own gentle way. You lie beneath the night sky, wrapped in the cool stillness of evening. Above you, the stars are scattered like fine dust across black velvet, each one older than memory, yet shining now. Their light began its journey long before you were born, before your parents, before the cities you know existed. Some of that light began its voyage before Earth itself took shape from dust and fire. The air is still. It brushes your skin as gently as a thought you almost forgot. There is no rush here, no pressing moment. The seconds slide past like leaves drifting on a slow-moving stream. If you listen, and not with your ears but with your attention, you sense something beneath the quiet. The universe is breathing. It is not the quick, shallow breath of lungs at work. It is a vast, unhurried inhalation and exhalation that you can only glimpse if you let go of your own sense of time. One inhale might take millions of years. One exhale might last longer than the memory of mountains. You cannot measure it in seconds. You can only feel it in the way galaxies drift apart, in the way light stretches as it crosses the emptiness. You feel the earth's turning beneath you. A motion so steady, so constant, that you have never felt it until this moment. Yet it is always there, a slow rotation that carries you from night to day and back again. This turning is part of the universe's breath. So is the Earth's orbit around the Sun, and the Sun's quiet drift through the Milky Way. Everything is in motion, and everything moves to its own tempo. For much of your life you have believed in one clock, a single universal beat that keeps time for everyone, everywhere. But here in the soft dark under the stars, you begin to understand that this is not true. There is no one clock, there are countless clocks, each with its own rhythm. A clock on a mountain runs a little faster than one by the sea. A clock aboard a satellite ticks more quickly than the one you keep in your pocket. A clock near the surface of a massive planet ticks more slowly than one far away from its gravity. The differences are small, far too small for your senses, but they are real. And if you had the patience to measure them, you would see that every place, every path, every heartbeat has its own measure of time. The stars above are proof. They shine from many different nows. The light you see is not the light they shine at this moment, but the light they shone long ago. When you look at the Pleiades, you see light that left those stars more than 400 years ago. When you look at Sirius, you see it as it was just over 8 years ago. And when you look at some faint smudge near the edge of your vision, a distant galaxy, you might be looking millions of years into the past. Time, you realize, is not a single river flowing forward in unison. It is a delta of countless streams, weaving and crossing, some moving swiftly, some meandering slowly. You stand at the meeting point of many of them, feeling their currents flow through you. You imagine yourself floating upward, past the treetops, past the clouds, into the cool black of space. Below you, the earth turns steadily. The oceans shimmer faintly in moonlight, and cities glow like embers. The clock on your wrist ticks at its usual pace, but compared to the clocks on the ground, it is running just a little faster. The difference is too small to notice, yet it is there. A quiet truth written into the laws of the universe. You drift farther out to where the International Space Station orbits the planet. The astronauts there live in this difference every day. Their clocks and their bodies age more slowly than those on Earth. Not enough to change their lives in any noticeable way, but enough for careful science to measure. Speed and distance from Earth's gravity have shifted their rhythm. They live in a subtly different flow of time. You return in your mind to the grass beneath you. The ground feels steady, but you now know it is not. You are being carried, not just through space, but through time itself. Your seconds are yours alone. No one else's are exactly the same. You live in your own local time, shaped by where you are and how you move. The night deepens. You notice the soft arc of the Milky Way above, its pale glow a river of billions of suns. That river moves too. Our galaxy drifts through space, pulled gently by the gravity of its neighbors. We are all caught in this slow dance, this breath that has been going on for billions of years. You breathe in, matching the pace you imagine the universe keeps. You breathe out, feeling your body settle into the grass. Each breath you take is part of the same endless exchange. The air you exhale might, one day, rise into the atmosphere, drift for years, and settle in a place far away. In the same way, the seconds you live will ripple outward, touching others in ways you cannot see. It is a comforting thought that your life is woven into the same fabric as the stars, the same breath as the galaxies. You are not separate from it. You are part of its timing, part of its slow and patient pulse. A meteor streaks across the sky, a brief, bright thread in the dark. It reminds you that not all moments are slow. Some are quick and brilliant, lasting only heartbeats, but even these are connected to the long breath. Each spark a product of motions and forces set in place long ago. You let your eyes close. The sounds around you grow softer, folding into the background. The night, the earth, the stars, they are still moving, still keeping their many rhythms. You are simply listening to them now, letting your own pace fall in line with theirs. In this moment, there is no need to measure anything. The clocks of the world can keep their separate times. You are in no hurry to match them. You have stepped into the long breath, and you can stay here as long as you like. Somewhere inside this stillness, you begin to sense a question forming. If the universe can keep so many rhythms at once, what would it feel like to hold one of them in your own hand? A clock in the palm of your hand. You imagine holding a perfect clock, its ticking as steady as your heartbeat. Yet elsewhere, another clock tells a different story of the same moment. You start to see time not as one river, but many small streams, each shaped by its own journey. You imagine it now, a clock small enough to rest in the palm of your hand. Its weight is balanced, its shape smooth, its face clear. You can feel the faint vibration of its ticking against your skin, steady and certain, like the rhythm of your own heartbeat. It feels honest, it feels exact. You believe it is telling the truth. But truth, you will soon discover, depends on where you stand. You glance at the numbers, watch the second hand move in its even circle. You could keep this clock close to you every day of your life and trust it to measure your moments with perfect loyalty. But if you were to give its twin to someone far away, someone high in the thin air of a mountain, or someone circling the earth in the quiet of orbit, you would find that their clock does not keep the same time as yours. Not by much. Not enough to feel with your body or notice with your eyes, but enough that if you set them side by side again after months or years, you would see the difference. Seconds gained or lost as though time itself had played a small, private trick. And yet, this is no trick at all. It is the quiet work of relativity. Einstein's insight: time is not absolute. The way it flows depends on speed and on gravity. A clock closer to the pull of a planet runs more slowly than one farther away. A clock moving quickly through space runs more slowly than one at rest. You look down at the clock in your hand. You can feel its loyalty to you, to the place where you are, to the pace of your own journey through the universe. It is faithful to your seconds, but it will not match the seconds of someone in another place, living under a different sky. You start to imagine each person on Earth holding such a clock. 7 billion clocks, each slightly out of step with the others, each one keeping the truth of its holder's moments, but no single one telling the truth for everyone. Time is not a single voice, it is a chorus. The thought makes you look around. In the street below, cars move, people walk, children run, birds wheel and dip in the air. Each of them is carrying a clock, not just in their hands, but in their bodies. Their hearts keep time, their breaths keep time, the chemical reactions inside their cells keep time, and every one of those clocks is part of this chorus, each with its own slight variation. You close your fingers around the clock in your palm, feeling the steady movement inside. You imagine lifting it slowly into the air, higher and higher until the buildings shrink below you. The second hand begins to move just a fraction faster than the one still on the ground. You are changing your place in the Earth's gravity, and the clock responds without hesitation. You imagine taking it further still, into an airplane, into a spacecraft, into orbit. Now, speed begins to join the dance. The faster you move, the more your seconds stretch compared to those who remain still. Your faithful clock, your companion, is telling a slightly different story of the same moment. It is a strange comfort to realize this. Your experience of time is deeply personal. It belongs to you. It is shaped by your path, your position, your motion. Even if you stand side by side with someone you love, your clocks, invisible or in your hand, are not keeping exactly the same measure. Somewhere scientists have made this visible. They have taken clocks as precise as human ingenuity can build, atomic clocks, and sent them on journeys. One stays on Earth, the other flies high above the clouds or races around the world in the belly of an aircraft. When they return, their faces show the truth that Einstein predicted a century ago. Time has flowed differently for each. You think of this as you hold your imaginary clock. It is not just a tool for marking hours and minutes. It is a reminder that your life's rhythm is unique, even if you share every day with someone else. The thought deepens. If a clock in your hand can keep its own tempo, then so can the clock of your mind. Your perception of a moment, whether it flies past or lingers, is also its own truth. A single afternoon can feel like an instant to one person and an eternity to another. The difference is not measured in the gears of a watch, but in the way each life moves through the world. You glance again at the clock in your palm. Its ticking is patient. It is not in a hurry to match another clock's rhythm. It only cares for your pace, your place in the universe's vast, invisible machinery. And yet, you cannot help but wonder what it would feel like to take it far enough, to move quickly enough, to place yourself in a situation where the difference is no longer a fraction of a second, but years. You picture it. A journey so long and so fast that you return to find the world older than you expected. Your own clock telling you one story, while the clocks of home tell another. A reunion filled with both joy and disorientation, as though you had stepped sideways into someone else's history. The image stays with you. Two lives, once in step, now carrying different measures of the same time. It is a picture you will carry forward, because soon you will meet them, two people who lived that difference. Two people who set out together and found themselves separated not by distance, but by the quiet, unyielding divergence of time itself. The weight of gravity on time. You stand in a valley feeling the deep pull of the earth. Gravity bends not only space but the very pace of your seconds. High on a mountain, time flows faster. Deep below, it moves more slowly. The planet's invisible hand shapes every moment you live. You stand at the base of a quiet mountain. The air is cool here, touched by the scent of stone and damp earth. The ground beneath you feels firm, almost absolute, but you know now that nothing is truly still. Even the seconds passing for you are different from the seconds passing for someone far above. Gravity is all around you, invisible, patient, constant. You cannot see it, yet you feel it in the weight of your body, in the way your feet meet the ground. It pulls you toward the Earth's center, the same pull that keeps the moon circling our world and keeps oceans cradled in their basins. But gravity does more than hold you. It bends space itself, and because time is woven into space, gravity bends time too. You imagine holding a clock here in the valley. Its second hand moves with calm precision. It has no reason to suspect that another clock, far above you, high on a mountain peak, is running just a little faster. The difference is impossibly small to your senses, but measurable to the instruments we trust to tell the truth. Why does this happen? You picture time as a smooth fabric. Gravity is like a weight placed on that fabric, pressing it down into a shallow curve. The stronger the gravity, the deeper the curve, and the slower time moves within it. In the valley you stand closer to the Earth's mass, deeper in its gravitational well. The seconds here must travel a slightly longer path, and so they pass more slowly. Climb the mountain, and you rise out of that well, just a little. Time flows a touch more quickly there, freed from some of gravity's pull. It's not enough to feel in your bones, but the clocks will know. They always know. This is not just theory. Scientists have placed atomic clocks at different altitudes, one near sea level, another high above. They have watched as the mountain clock gains time, drifting ahead of its twin below. The effect is tiny, but in our age of satellites and navigation, it matters. Without correcting for this difference, your GPS would wander meters, even kilometers from the truth. You close your eyes and imagine this effect stretched to its extreme. Near a massive star, gravity's well is much deeper. Time slows dramatically there, seconds stretching like warm honey. Move closer still, to the edge of a neutron star or a black hole, and time could slow to the point of almost stopping compared to the rhythm of the wider universe. But here, in this quiet valley, the slowing is gentle, a small reminder that even the most ordinary moment is shaped by forces you cannot see. You take a step forward, feeling the weight in your legs as you begin to climb. The path winds upward, the air thinning as the valley falls away below you. You imagine the seconds around you loosening, unfolding a fraction faster with each step you take. It is an invisible ascent through time as much as through space. At the summit you look down at the landscape, rivers winding silver through the lowlands, shadows stretching long in the afternoon light. Somewhere down there the valley clock ticks a little behind yours. It's still telling the truth. But its truth is not yours anymore. You hold this thought. Gravity does not just shape where we can go, it shapes when we are. It binds space and time into a single fabric, and wherever there is mass, the fabric bends. Every step, every breath, every beat of your heart is lived in a pocket where gravity decides the tempo. It makes you wonder, if gravity can shift time so subtly here on Earth, what happens when we leave the planet entirely? What happens when the main force shaping our seconds is not the pull of the Earth beneath us, but the speed of our own motion through space? The mountain wind carries this question away, as if passing it to the sky, and you find yourself ready to follow it there. The long pause of the traveler. You travel through space in a ship that glides without sound. Inside, your time feels steady. Outside, the universe measures it differently. The faster you move, the slower your clock becomes, as if speed itself cradles time in a slower song. You are aboard a ship that moves without sound. No wind against the hull, no vibration under your feet, only the faint hum of systems keeping you alive. Through the wide window ahead, space stretches in every direction, black and endless, studded with light. The stars no longer look like still points. They have lengthened into fine threads, drawn out by your motion. They are not rushing toward you. You are the one cutting silently through their field. Inside, your clock ticks at its familiar pace. Your breath is steady. Your heartbeat keeps its rhythm. Nothing here tells you that anything is different. But if you could see yourself from far away, if someone back on Earth could watch you closely, they would notice that your seconds are stretching. Your clock runs more slowly than theirs. Your moments unfold at a gentler pace. This is the quiet effect of speed. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time compared to those at rest. It is not an illusion. It is not a trick. It is a truth that sits deep in the structure of reality. You think of two friends. One remains on Earth, walking streets they know well. The other, EU, drifts away on this ship, moving faster and faster until Earth becomes just another point of light. Years later, when you return, your friend will have lived more days than you. You will have traveled farther, not only in space, but in the way your seconds have stretched against theirs. Scientists call this the twin paradox. In it, two people share the same beginning, but live through different amounts of time because of motion. From your point of view here in the ship, everything is normal. Your meals, your sleep, your thoughts all follow the same rhythm you have always known. But compared to the friend you left behind, you have lived fewer moments. This is not guesswork. The difference has been measured, not yet in years, but in billionths of a second using atomic clocks flown in aircraft and aboard satellites. Still, the principle is the same. Speed reshapes time. You press your hand against the glass. The stars beyond feel both near and impossibly far. You think of time as a fabric, and your ship, moving quickly, is stretching that fabric in a new direction. The stretch is gentle here, but in theory, as you approach the speed of light, the effect would grow. Time could slow to a crawl inside your vessel, while centuries pass outside. It is a strange feeling to know you could outpace the clocks of an entire world, not by rushing through its days, but by letting your own days run more slowly. In this silence, you notice how easily your mind drifts. There is nothing to anchor you except the steady hum of the ship and the measured sound of your own breathing. Space has no weather, no seasons, no days or nights to guide you. Time here feels both infinite and delicate, as if it could slip away without your noticing. You remember the valley, where gravity slowed your seconds, and the mountaintop, where they flowed a little faster. Now you see that motion itself can bend the pace of your life, just as gravity does. You are learning the two threads that weave the fabric of time, speed and gravity. Together they decide how quickly or slowly your moments unfold. You wonder what it would feel like to go faster still. Would you sense the slowing in your bones? Would you feel the rest of the universe hurrying past? Or would it always be like this, your own moments feeling perfectly normal, while the difference exists only in the comparison between your clock and another's? You close your eyes. The steady thrum of the engines becomes the sound of your heartbeat. For a moment you feel as though you are not moving at all, that space is sliding past you instead. Perhaps that is what speed really is, not motion through the universe, but a change in the way the universe keeps time around you. You think ahead to a future where humans might travel like this for decades, even lifetimes. A traveler could leave and return to find that the world has grown unrecognizable, its people aged or gone, its cities changed. The traveler would be a visitor from the past, carrying a different measure of time inside their body. It is a bittersweet image, the idea of outrunning the days of others, yet losing the chance to live them alongside them. The ship moves on. The stars continue to stream across the glass. You feel suspended between motion and stillness, between one clock and another. Here you are free from the rush of Earth's minutes and hours, yet you are also apart from them. As you breathe, you sense another presence in your thoughts, not a person, but an idea forming like a faint light ahead. To understand why this happens, why speed and gravity hold such sway over time, you will need to walk alongside the man who first saw it clearly. And so, in your mind, you begin to slow the ship, let it drift toward a quiet street in Switzerland, where a young Albert Einstein is waiting with a question that will change everything. Einstein's quiet insight. You walk with a young Albert Einstein through lamplit streets. He wonders what it would feel like to chase a beam of light. From such quiet questions, he begins to see that speed and gravity bend the fabric of reality. The world's understanding of time will never be the same. You walk with him through a quiet street in Bern, Switzerland. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of rain on stone. Gas lamps pool their warm light across the cobblestones, casting shadows that sway gently with each step you take. Albert Einstein walks beside you, his dark hair a little untamed, his hands tucked in his coat pockets. He is not the image from schoolbooks, not yet the famous scientist whose face will circle the world. Here he is simply a man in his 20s, working at the Swiss patent office by day and carrying questions in his mind at night. He does not speak quickly. Instead, his thoughts seem to unspool at the pace of your footsteps. When he finally turns to you, his voice is quiet, almost conversational. What would it be like to ride alongside a beam of light? You picture it instantly, the world rushing past in silence, the air still because you are moving as fast as it is, a stream of light beside you, never falling behind, never pulling ahead. Would it look frozen in place? Would time itself seem to hold its breath? Einstein smiles faintly. This is not a casual daydream for him. It is the seed of something larger. For years he has been turning this thought over in his mind, examining it from every angle. He believes that the speed of light is the same for everyone, no matter how they move. If that is true, then something else in the universe must bend to make it possible. That something is time. You pass the windows of shuttered shops. The reflection of the lamps wavers in the glass, as if the light itself is moving through a slower rhythm. Einstein begins to explain that space and time are not separate, but part of a single fabric, space-time. If light's speed is constant, then time must stretch or contract depending on your motion or the strength of gravity's pull. It is an idea that feels both simple and vast, simple in the way he speaks it, vast in the way it shifts everything you thought you knew. Time is not a universal drumbeat. It is more like a woven cloth, able to ripple and fold depending on how it is touched. As you walk, he tells you how trains sparked many of his thoughts. Two clocks on the same track, seen from different perspectives, might not agree on the moment an event occurs. If one clock is moving quickly, it measures a different slice of time than the one standing still. This is not a flaw in the clock, but a truth about the nature of time itself. He pauses as if letting the thought settle between you, like the quiet between notes of music. In that pause, you realize something. He is not trying to convince you. He is simply sharing the wonder of a question that has carried him across years of thought. You turn a corner. The street opens into a small square, its edges lined with stone buildings dark against the night sky. Here, under the open space, his ideas seem even larger. You can feel them stretching outward, past Bern, past Europe, past the Earth itself, into the quiet mechanics of the cosmos. Einstein speaks again, telling you that both speed and gravity can change the flow of time. They are the twin forces shaping every clock in the universe, from the smallest atom to the orbits of planets. Move quickly enough or stand in a strong enough gravitational field, and your seconds will no longer match the seconds of someone far away. You think of the ship you were in, slipping between the stars. You think of the valley and the mountain, where gravity's weight shifted the pace of your moments. Now you see that these are not separate stories. They are connected threads in the same fabric. Einstein is showing you how they weave together. In his mind, he does not picture equations first. He pictures light moving across the universe. He imagines himself riding beside it, or watching it from a moving train, or feeling it bend in the grip of gravity. From these simple visions, he begins to see the rules that govern reality. The square is nearly silent. Only the distant sound of footsteps echoes against the stone. Einstein slows his pace as though reluctant to end the walk. He tells you that understanding this truth does not make time feel less mysterious. If anything, it deepens the mystery, because now we know that time is not fixed, but alive in its own way, shaped by where you are and how you move. You both stop under a lamp. Its glow feels warmer now, as if the light has been softened by the thought of its own journey to you. Einstein looks out into the dark streets. Imagine, he says quietly, what it would mean for two people to live through different amounts of time, even if they started together. The words hang in the air. You can feel the question they carry, its edges leading you toward a new chapter in the story. A chapter about two lives, two clocks, and the quiet distance that can grow between them even when they share the same universe. The twin who waits. Two siblings part ways, one stays on Earth, the other journeys through space. Years later, one has aged more than the other. This is no magic, but the natural consequence of moving through time at different speeds. Their reunion is both tender and strange. They stand together in the early morning light. Two siblings, shoulder to shoulder, watching the first pale streaks of day climb the horizon. The air is still cool, carrying the scent of wet grass. They say little, not because there is nothing to say, but because some moments feel too big for words. One will stay, the other will leave the earth. Both know it will be a long time before they see each other again. They exchange a final glance. One smile is tinged with anticipation, the other with a quiet ache. Then the traveler boards the ship, and the one who waits watches as it rises through the clouds, becoming nothing more than a speck of light. For the one left behind, time moves in its familiar way. Days stack into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. Seasons cycle through their rituals. The sharp green of spring, the heavy gold of summer, the rust of autumn, the pale hush of winter. Life fills itself with ordinary moments, conversations, birthdays, the changing faces of friends. For the traveler, life aboard the ship unfolds in its own rhythm. The sun of another star rises and sets across alien skies. Distances unimaginable pass in what feels like the steady heartbeat of days. Inside, the seconds seem loyal, each moment following the next just as they always have. But compared to the clock still ticking on Earth, these moments are stretched. The traveler's time is moving more slowly. This is not magic, it is the way the universe works. Speed, true immense speed, changes the flow of time. Relativity predicts it, and careful experiments confirm it. Two identical clocks, one racing through space and one at rest, will not agree when brought back together, and neither is wrong. Each has kept perfect time for the journey it has taken. Years later, the ship returns. The one who waited stands again in the early morning, watching the sky for the first sign of arrival. When it comes, the ship descends slowly, its heat shield still warm from its kiss with the atmosphere. The hatch opens. Two faces meet again. One has aged, not dramatically, but in the quiet ways time makes itself known. Lines at the corners of the eyes, silver threading through the hair, a weight in the shoulders from carrying many seasons. The other looks almost unchanged, as if only a few years have passed since the day of departure. The moment is strange and tender all at once. There is joy and a sudden, wordless recognition that they have not shared the same river of time. They hold each other as if bridging the gap physically might close it in the heart. They compare memories. The one who waited has lived through events the traveler missed entirely. Births, farewells, quiet celebrations, storms that changed the shape of the land. The traveler speaks of places no one on Earth has seen, skies lit by suns of different colors, moons that rise in pairs. Both stories are true, and both are incomplete without the other. Time dilation is no longer an abstract idea. It is here, between them, in the difference their bodies carry. The traveler's clock has simply moved more slowly because of the ship's immense speed. The waiting twins' clock has moved faster in the gravity and stillness of Earth. Neither chose it. It simply happened, woven into the fabric of reality they both inhabit. You watch them walk away together, their steps slightly out of sync at first, then finding a new rhythm. You imagine how it feels to live with the knowledge that the same years have not been the same length. Perhaps that is the quiet truth of all lives. Even when we begin in the same moment, we move through time differently. Some journeys are marked in minutes, others in light years. Some stretch a single day into something endless, while others compress decades into a heartbeat. The twins do not try to measure what they have lost or gained. Instead, they walk side by side into the day, sharing the seconds they have now. As you watch them fade into the crowd, a thought stirs in you. If speed can change time so profoundly, what about the places where gravity itself is far stronger than anything here on Earth? What would it feel like to stand where even light cannot easily escape and feel your seconds slow almost to stillness? The mountain and the sea. You climb a mountain where moments run lighter and swifter in the thin air. You descend into the sea's depths where gravity's grip slows each second. The Earth is a landscape of many clocks, all ticking at slightly different tempos. You begin at the base of a mountain, the morning air cool and edged with the scent of stone and pine. The path winds upward in a gentle incline, your steps falling into a slow rhythm. As you climb, the valley drops away, revealing slopes painted with wildflowers and ridges dusted with the last snow of winter. The higher you go, the thinner the air becomes. It presses less firmly on your skin, and somewhere beneath your awareness, gravity's pull has loosened just slightly. You do not feel it, but the clock you carry, whether on your wrist or in your heartbeat, does. Here, high above much of the Earth's mass, time runs just a little faster than it does at sea level. The difference is impossibly small, measured in billionths of a second over an entire day. But it is real, and it can be measured with the right tools. Atomic clocks have proved it. Placing one here on the summit and one in the valley below will reveal that the mountain clock gains time. Not much, but enough for science to notice. You imagine leaving a friend behind in the valley while you stay at the peak. Months later, you meet again, both having lived through the same sunrises and sunsets, the same rains and winds, yet your clocks would quietly disagree. Theirs would be just a touch behind. Now you begin your descent. You follow a trail that winds downward through forest shadows, past streams whose voices grow louder with each step. The air thickens, and you feel the weight of the world gather itself around you again. When you reach the shore, the sea stretches before you, flat, endless, shimmering under the sun. You step into the water, it clings to you in cool sheets, pressing more firmly as you wade deeper. The light dims, colors fading to blue, then to green, until the surface above is only a trembling silver disk. Down here, gravity's pull is stronger than on the mountain, and the pressure of the water adds its own weight. Your clock slows, not enough to feel, but enough that it is now running behind the one you left high above. It's easy to think such differences do not matter, that a billionth of a second is nothing at all. But our modern world depends on knowing and correcting for these shifts. Satellites in orbit run faster than clocks on Earth's surface because they are farther from the pull of gravity. Engineers must adjust for this constantly, otherwise GPS would become unreliable within days. Here, floating in the quiet green light beneath the waves, you realize that you have just moved through the fastest and slowest moments your body will ever know on Earth. No spaceship, no black hole, just a climb to a peak and a dive beneath the surface. The planet is a landscape of countless clocks. Every altitude, every depth, every gravitational field is its own tempo. A mountain village and a coastal town may live in the same time zone, yet their seconds are not identical. Each place keeps its own local truth, as quietly and faithfully as your heartbeat. You surface and float on your back, the water cradling you. Above you, the sky you saw from the mountain stretches unchanged. Below you, the deep stillness you just left continues in its own slower measure. You are between them now, between faster and slower, between the lightness of thin air and the heaviness of the sea. It occurs to you that if such gentle changes happen here, then the extremes, the places where gravity becomes overwhelming, must change time in ways far beyond your daily experience. You picture it, a place where the pull is so strong that seconds stretch towards stillness, where light itself struggles to escape. The image grows sharper in your mind, a black sphere hanging in space, perfectly dark, perfectly silent. Its heartbeat would be the slowest in the universe. You close your eyes, feeling the water's slow sway beneath you, and you let yourself drift toward that vision. You are leaving the ocean for the deepest gravity well imaginable, ready to listen to the patient pulse of a black hole. The heartbeat of black holes. At the edge of a black hole, time stretches into near stillness, light bends, colors fade, and a single moment can outlast centuries elsewhere. You feel the patience of the universe's slowest clock beating deep in the fabric of space-time. You are standing at the edge of something vast and invisible. It does not shine, it does not move in any way you can see, yet its presence is undeniable. The light around you bends toward it, as though drawn by an invisible hand. Stars seem to stretch as they pass near its boundary, their colors bleeding toward red before fading into darkness. This is a black hole, a place where matter has collapsed under its own weight, falling inward until it has no surface, only a boundary called the event horizon. Cross that line, and nothing, not even light, can return. You imagine holding a clock here, its second hand moving just as it would anywhere else. But from the perspective of someone far away, your clock has slowed almost to a stop. They would see you moving in slow motion, every gesture drawn out, your voice stretched into silence. If they waited long enough, they might watch you freeze at the edge, never quite crossing over. From your point of view, though, nothing unusual happens. You could cross the event horizon in moments, not feeling the exact instant you pass it. Your seconds would feel normal. It is the rest of the universe that would seem to race ahead without you. This is gravitational time dilation at its most extreme. Here, the pull of gravity is so deep that the very fabric of space-time is curved nearly into a fold. Closer to the center, time itself is stretched until it approaches stillness. You picture the black hole not as a violent destroyer, but as the slowest heartbeat in the cosmos. It beats not in seconds, but in centuries. Its rhythm is marked by the slow spiraling of matter that falls toward it, matter that glows fiercely as it heats up, shedding its last light before disappearing. Astronomers cannot see a black hole directly. They trace its presence by the way nearby stars orbit an invisible point, by the light from gas and dust swirling in the accretion disk, by the gravitational waves released when black holes merge. They watch, measure, and listen from afar, knowing they are studying one of the most patient clocks in existence. You take a step closer in your imagination. The pull here is not something you feel as a tug on your body. It is something you feel in your time. Each moment stretches, becoming wider, as though your thoughts have more space between them. Your awareness begins to slow with the seconds themselves, and the rest of the universe speeds ahead in your absence. If you could stand safely just outside the event horizon, you could watch thousands of years unfold in the galaxy around you, while only hours pass for you. Stars would be born and die, planets would rise and erode, civilizations might grow and vanish, all in what feels to you like a single unbroken watch. It is a strange perspective to see that time is not universal, and that its extremes are not just theory, but real, measurable, and woven into the way the universe works. You step back in your mind, away from the brink. The black sphere shrinks against the field of stars, its slow heartbeat fading into the background. You feel lighter, as though the seconds themselves have regained their swifter pace, and yet you carry something with you. The knowledge that there are places in the universe where time nearly stops, places where a single moment can last longer than all of human history. You look once more toward that dark horizon. Somewhere beyond it, whatever has fallen inside continues its journey. Perhaps it moves toward a center that cannot be reached. Perhaps it becomes part of something we cannot yet imagine. For now, it is beyond knowing. The black hole's patient pulse is still out there, shaping the space around it, slowing the time of anything that dares come close. It is the quietest of clocks, marking its moments in the language of gravity itself. You turn away, feeling the pull lessen, and begin to imagine something closer to home. If black holes can slow time so dramatically, what about the delicate, everyday ways we can measure it here on Earth? Could we hold a piece of that truth in our own hands and watch the difference for ourselves? Time in your pocket. You carry an atomic clock, its rhythm precise beyond imagination. A short journey changes it, gravity and motion shifting its tempo in ways too small to see. Time dilation becomes something you can hold in your hand. You feel its weight in your palm, small, solid, unassuming. To most eyes, it could be just another watch. But inside, instead of gears and springs, it keeps time by counting the vibrations of atoms, each tick so precise that it loses less than a second in millions of years. This is an atomic clock, a timekeeper so sensitive that it can hear the faintest whispers of relativity. You imagine two of them, perfectly matched. For a moment they are side by side, their seconds moving in perfect unison, like twin dancers stepping to the same rhythm. Then you part them. One stays here in your pocket, the other begins a journey, up into the sky, far from the pull of the earth, or racing aboard an airplane. When they meet again, their perfect unison is gone. One has crept ahead, the other has fallen slightly behind. The difference is so small you could never notice it without these instruments. But it is there, a physical record of the way time itself has flowed differently for each. This is relativity made tangible. It is not a story about distant galaxies or black holes, but something you can hold, measure, and prove here on Earth. In 1971, scientists carried out a famous experiment. They placed atomic clocks aboard commercial airliners and flew them around the world, one set eastward, the other westward. When they compared them to clocks that had stayed on the ground, the times disagreed, just as Einstein's equations predicted. The plane's speed and their altitude, each affecting time in opposite ways, had left their mark. Today, this isn't just an experiment, it's a necessity. GPS satellites carry atomic clocks in orbit high above Earth. Up there, farther from the pull of gravity, their time runs a little faster than clocks on the surface. If engineers didn't correct for that difference, your phone's map would place you hundreds of meters from where you actually stand. Every moment you navigate in a city or track your path on a trail, you are leaning on relativity, even if you never think about it. You close your fingers around the clock in your palm. It feels like a secret. A reminder that even here in your everyday life, time is not quite what it seems. Your seconds are your own, shaped by where you are and how you move. Even standing perfectly still, you are in motion, turning with the earth, circling the sun, sailing through the galaxy. Your clock is keeping pace with that journey, and its tempo is unlike anyone else's. You imagine carrying it into a tall building, climbing floor after floor until you reach the top. You would be just a little farther from Earth's center of gravity, and the clock would run imperceptibly faster than its twin at the bottom. Bring it back down, and the difference would remain, not erased, not reset, but etched into the record of its ticking. It's strange to think that such small changes matter, but they do. The most accurate atomic clocks can now detect time differences from a height change of just a few centimeters. Move them from the floor to a tabletop, and they will disagree. In this way, time is like air pressure or temperature, a property that changes subtly with your location, even if you can't feel it. You take the clock from your pocket and hold it in both hands. It is more than a machine. It is a window, a way to see what your senses cannot. It shows that time is not fixed, that it flows differently from place to place, and that you live in your own current of it. The thought brings a quiet comfort. It means you are not just moving through time, but shaping it in the smallest ways with every step, every journey, every choice of where to stand. You slip the clock back into your pocket and feel it rest there. It's ticking too fast for you to hear, yet steady as your own heartbeat. You wonder, as you often do now, how this personal tempo fits into the greater music of the universe. If every clock has its own song, then somewhere there must be a harmony. A place where your seconds join with all the others, woven into the same vast composition. That thought lingers as you begin to walk. The weight in your pocket is light, but it carries the truth of everything you've learned. and it leads to a question you can feel but not yet answer. What is your place in the great cosmic clock that holds every rhythm from the fastest particle vibration to the slowest turning of galaxies? Your place in the cosmic clock. You breathe, the earth turns, and the stars drift. Every life is part of a vast, intricate timepiece, each of us keeping our own unique seconds. You find comfort in knowing that your now is yours alone, woven into the universe's great harmony. You sit in a quiet place, feeling the last light of day fade into the coolness of night. The air is still, and the world seems to be holding its breath. Somewhere behind you, the sun has slipped below the horizon. Above, the first stars are beginning to appear, steady and familiar. You breathe in, you breathe out. In this simple rhythm, you feel a connection to something vast. Your heart is keeping time, but it is not the only clock you carry. Every atom in your body vibrates with its own tempo. Your mind measures moments in thoughts, your body in breaths, the earth in rotations. From this still place, you can almost sense the layers of motion that cradle you. The earth is spinning, carrying you toward tomorrow. It is orbiting the sun, sweeping you through the seasons. The sun itself drifts in a long arc around the center of the Milky Way, pulling our whole solar system with it. And the galaxy moves too, sliding through the great web of the cosmos. Each of these motions keeps its own time. They overlap and flow together like the gears of an immense clock, a clock so large it holds every rhythm in existence. You think back to where you have traveled in your mind, the mountain and the sea, where gravity shifted the pace of your moments, the silent ship among the stars, where speed stretched your seconds, the black hole's patient heartbeat, where time nearly stopped, and the atomic clock in your pocket, its precision revealing differences too small for your senses. All of these are part of the same truth. There is no single universal now. Every place, every path is its own current in the river of time, and yet you are not lost in this complexity. You belong to it. Your seconds may be unique, but they are also part of the harmony. Like one note in a chord, one heartbeat in a shared silence. You close your eyes and imagine looking down from far above, seeing Earth turning in the darkness. Cities sparkle faintly on the surface. Clouds drift across oceans. From here, no single life stands out, yet each is a clock, marking its own rhythm in sync with countless others. Some lives run fast, their days packed and urgent. Others move slowly, stretching moments into long, quiet spaces. Some are shaped by mountains, others by oceans, some by the slow gravity of love, others by the quick acceleration of change. All are part of the same mechanism, each necessary, each exactly where it belongs. You realize that your own life is not separate from the cosmic clock. You are one of its moving parts, just as much as a planet or a star. The choices you make, the journeys you take, even the places you stand, all of them place you in a specific rhythm that no one else will ever experience exactly the same way. It is a humbling thought, but also a comforting one. You cannot be outside of time. You cannot fall out of the universe's keeping. No matter where you are exactly in your place within the great design. You open your eyes to the night sky. The constellations wheel slowly overhead, their shapes the same as they were for ancient eyes, yet not quite the same. Each star has moved, each beam of light carries the history of its journey to you. You are seeing many different moments at once, woven together in a single view. You breathe again, and with each breath you feel the gentle turning of the earth, the slow drift of the sun, the wider spiral of the galaxy. You feel both small and infinite at the same time, a single note and the whole song at once. Somewhere deep in your awareness, a thought forms and lingers. If every moment is shaped by where you are and how you move, then every now is a personal place. Your now will never be repeated exactly, not in all the history of the cosmos. You let that truth rest in you. It is not a truth to solve, but one to live with, to carry like a quiet talisman. You are not rushing toward an ending, you are moving through an unfolding. each tick of your personal clock a step in a vast, beautiful pattern. The night deepens, the air cools, the stars shine more brightly against the dark. The cosmic clock turns without urgency, and you turn with it perfectly in time. Somewhere inside, you feel the question that will guide you into sleep. If my place in this clock is unique, what would it be like to rest between its ticks, to linger in the silence between seconds, where time itself seems to pause? The silence between seconds. You listen closely to the rhythm of time and begin to sense the spaces between its beats. These pauses are not empty. They are the quiet rooms where thought rests and the heart finds peace. Here you discover that stillness is also part of time's design. You sit very still. So still that you can hear your own breathing, the faint rise and fall, the soft whisper of air. The world outside has slowed to a gentle hum, like the distant sound of water over stones. In this quiet, you notice something you have never truly felt before. Between one breath and the next, there is a small space, not long enough to measure, but long enough to notice. It is the pause where nothing happens, yet everything rests. Time, you realize, is not a solid flow. It is made of moments, and between them lie these tiny silences. A clock ticks, and before the next tick there is a sliver of stillness. Your heart beats, and between one pulse and the next there is a calm in which the whole body is quiet. You imagine stretching that pause as if holding it gently in your hands. What if you could stay here, not moving forward, not sliding back, simply resting in the gap between seconds? Would the world disappear, or would it come into sharper focus? Scientists tell us that time is continuous, flowing without breaks, but our minds experience it differently. We live in snapshots, each moment a frame, each pause a subtle reset. In the smallest gaps between events, our awareness settles like a leaf floating on a still pond. You think of the great cosmic clocks you have imagined, black holes with their endless stretching of time, mountains and seas with their gentle tempo shifts, atomic clocks ticking in your pocket. All of them keep their own steady beat. But even their rhythms are built of moments, each separated by a breath of nothing. This space between seconds is not wasted. It is where the mind rebalances, where thought gathers before stepping into the next beat. It is where you can step back from the flow and simply be, not as the you rushing toward tomorrow, but as the you that exists only now. You close your eyes and let your awareness settle into that place. It feels as though you are sitting in a quiet room at the center of a vast clock. You can hear the ticking all around, but here in the pause you are untouched by its urgency. The room is neither dark nor light, but filled with a soft, endless dusk. From here you imagine time as a great wheel, its spokes turning, each one a moment passing into the next. You are not clinging to the spokes, you are resting at the still hub in the center, watching them spin without being carried away. It is a place of freedom. You do not need to hurry. You do not need to hold on. You can stay here for as long as you like, even though you know in the world outside seconds continue to pass. Eventually you open your eyes, the stars are out again, and the night is quiet. But something has shifted. You carry that silence with you now, a reminder that stillness is not separate from time, but part of it. Without the pause, the beat would have no shape. Without the gap, the music would be only noise. You rise slowly and begin to walk. Each step is deliberate, each breath full, and between them you feel the pause, that delicate space where nothing is asked of you. You think about how this might be the truest form of time travel, not racing to the past or the future, but learning to step gently into the spaces in between. Here, the rush of days and years cannot touch you. Here, you are not late and you are not early. You are exactly where you are meant to be. The silence between seconds is not emptiness, it is the seedbed of everything that happens, the still foundation beneath all movement. And when you find it, when you truly rest there, you carry it with you into the flow of your days, so that even as the seconds pass, you are never far from stillness. Somewhere ahead you feel the story drawing toward its final drift. A place where time and sleep meet, where you can let go completely and let the cosmic clock turn without you for a while. Final drift. The journey has brought you from mountain peaks to black holes, from the ticking of a pocket clock to the stillness between seconds. Now you are ready to let go of time's weight, to drift into the deep, unmeasured sea of sleep, where every moment is both endless and complete. You lie back, letting the ground hold you. It feels steady, as though the earth itself has been waiting for you to rest here. Above, the stars keep their slow watch, their light older than the history of your species, older than the memory of the land beneath you. The air is cool and easy. You can hear the faintest sounds of a distant rustle of leaves, a soft hum in the far-off night. Everything is gentle now. The urgency of the day has thinned like mist lifting from the surface of a lake. You think of all the places you have traveled in this journey. The mountain's height, where time quickened without your notice. The sea's quiet depth, where seconds slowed. The patient edge of a black hole, where a single moment could stretch beyond human reckoning. The steady ticking of an atomic clock, revealing that even the smallest journeys leave their mark on time. The silence between seconds, where nothing is asked of you and everything simply is. Each of these places, each of these ideas is still with you, woven into the rhythm of your own breathing. They have brought you here, to a moment that feels whole and unhurried. You let your thoughts slow. No need to follow them far, no need to hold them tightly. They drift like leaves on a quiet stream, turning gently before slipping out of sight. Your body feels heavier now, but it is the heaviness of safety, of being exactly where you need to be. You picture the cosmic clock you have carried in your imagination, its great slow gears turning in the darkness, its face too wide to see all at once. Somewhere in that vast design, your seconds tick quietly, keeping their own pace. They do not need to hurry because they are already part of the whole. As you breathe, you feel the clock slow. Its hands no longer measure time in numbers but in sensations. The coolness of night air, the weight of your body sinking into rest, the softness of your closed eyes. You are no longer watching time pass, you are floating in it. The minutes lose their edges. There is no before or after, only this endless now, deep and calm. Sleep begins to gather around you. It is not a sudden arrival, but a gentle tide rising, lifting you without effort. Your breath becomes the rhythm of small waves, steady and sure. Each exhale carries you farther from the shore of waking. The stars above remain, but they grow softer, as though dimming their light to guide you inward. Somewhere in the far distance, the cosmic clock continues its turning, but here its sound is only a faint, reassuring hum. You release the day, its weight, its noise, its scattered pieces of time. They float away easily, carried by the same current that holds you now. In this final drift you are both vast and small, both the tick of a single clock and the turning of the galaxy itself. You do not have to choose. You are both. You always have been. Your breathing deepens, slowing to match the quiet pulse of the universe. The moments stretch, then dissolve, until there is nothing to measure, nothing to count. You are ready to rest. The journey has brought you to the place between all places, where time is no longer something you pass through, but something you are part of completely. And as you drift into the vastness, you feel only this, a sense of belonging, soft and endless like the night itself. The light that left long ago. Every star you see tonight shines from the past. Its light has traveled across years, centuries, even millennia to reach you. In this way, looking at the night sky is a kind of time travel. Each photon a tiny messenger from another moment. You are surrounded by memories written in light. You open your eyes to the night sky again. The stars are quiet, but their silence holds a secret. They are not as they are now. They are as they were. Every beam of starlight is a traveler crossing the cold emptiness of space for years, sometimes for centuries, before finding your eyes. The nearest stars shine with light that left them only a few years ago. Others began their journey when pyramids were new, when rivers still carved the shapes of continents, when the first forests covered the earth. The farthest you can see without a telescope comes from thousands of years in the past. Through a telescope, you can reach millions. And with the great eyes of observatories, astronomers can see light that began its journey billions of years ago, from a time when the universe itself was young. You realize that the night sky is a kind of archive, a library written not in paper and ink, but in the language of photons. Every star is sending you a chapter of its history, and you are reading it in real time. This is why astronomers sometimes speak of telescopes not as instruments of space, but of time. To look far away is to look far back. Every added distance brings you deeper into the past, as though you are walking backward through the corridors of the universe. You think of the cosmic clock again, its face vast enough to hold every moment, its hands turning with patient precision. The light in the sky tonight is not in the same place on that clock as you are. It belongs to other hours, other ages. In a way, you are always surrounded by ghosts, not of people but of moments, moments that burned and glowed, that crossed space to arrive just now, just for you to see. The moon's light is only a little over a second old. The sun's light is about 8 minutes old. From Saturn, it would take light more than an hour to reach your eyes. From the nearest big galaxy, Andromeda, it takes over 2 million years. And from the faintest edge of the observable universe, light has been traveling for almost the entire age of everything. You breathe slowly, letting this truth sink in. The present is not as solid as it seems. It is a patchwork, a quilt made of moments from different places, different times, all stitched together in your sight. Time dilation, you realize, is not only about how seconds pass differently in different places. It is also about how those places send their moments to you. You never see the universe as it is, only as it was. And the farther you look, the older the vision becomes. You imagine catching one of these photons in your hand. It would be impossibly small, yet inside it is the story of where it came from. Its color, its energy, its subtle changes from traveling so far. A single ray of light can carry the memory of a star's birth, its burning life, its final fade into darkness. And just as light carries the past to you, you are sending your own light out now. Every time sunlight reflects from your skin, every time a lamp spills through a window, those photons begin their own journey outward. Some will strike dust and be absorbed, some will fade into the atmosphere, and some, a rare few, will leave Earth entirely, traveling on without end. Somewhere, ages from now, that light could reach another eye, another mind, and they would see you not as you are in that distant future, but as you are right now, in this quiet moment under the stars. The thought makes you feel both small and infinite. You are a receiver of light, a keeper of moments, and a sender of them too. You are woven into this network of time and memory, even when you do nothing but sit still. Above you, the stars continue their patient shining. They are not in a hurry. They know their light will carry their story forward, even long after they are gone. And so will you. You close your eyes one last time, and the image of the sky stays with you, etched on the inside of your mind. You are no longer thinking in seconds or hours. You are thinking in light years, and in that measure you realize you are already a part of eternity.